Welcome to the Firewater Review, a weekly podcast dedicated to whiskey reviews. On this episode, we will be reviewing Angel's Envy Cask Strength from 2014. I am your host, Seth Brown. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Aaron Cave. How's it going, dude?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. And I just looked at the pour that was from a sample bottle, courtesy of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a little hesitant because I think I may have poured too much in my glass.
There's never too much. There's never too much.
I hope not. So anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, and if it makes you feel any better, it's going to be a fun night because, I kind of reviewed this afternoon and then reviewed a couple other ones this afternoon. And then I don't know if you saw that post the picture I posted last night of the homemade oatmeal cream pie my wife made.
I did, and I assumed that she was the person that made that one.
Yes. It was phenomenal. And so she made like 16 of those cookies. And so I had one after dinner, and you can't have something like that without another glass of bourbon. So
you gotta wash it down.
Yeah. So I'm coming into this review feeling pretty nice. So it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if that was a donut or what. And then after I read your description, I was like, oh gosh, I bet it's But your wife had to make that one. It looked great. Yeah. She did a good job. She's great at baking. So, so I'm gonna be eating oatmeal cream pies for days. So nice.
Angel's Envy Cask Strength. So this was we had a contest running a while back, and this was one that was thrown out there that people wanted to hear. So I think we're going to try to start knocking out some of these reviews that the listeners want to hear. So looking forward to this one. But as you said, this is from 2014, and it's 119 proof. So one of the lower proofs of what's been released.
I've had the opportunity to buy a couple of the cask strengths, and I just never have. The regular Angel's Envy is okay if you're into that sort of thing. I mean, it's decent. I've got a really good barrel pick of it. It was one of the last barrels that was Angel's Envy before they were purchased. That was released here in the Atlanta area, so I picked that up. But I've never actually had the cask strength until you sent this sample to me.
I do like some of the finished bourbons. I think the cask strength series that they're doing is fairly well. It's not for me, not worth the money that the price tag they have on it, but I do enjoy them here every now and then. So with your store pick now, from what I understand, the way they do their picks is it's a blend of 3 different barrels. Is that how it goes? Do you know?
Yeah, you have 3 different barrels that you can choose from. I forget which ones mine were, but I think they only ended up going with 2 of the 3 barrels.
Okay, so you blend it and okay.
Yeah, and like I said, I can't remember which the 2 barrels were, but I do remember there was something unique about it, and I think that was it, that they only went with 2 of the 3.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like Woodford, because if you do a Woodford just at their regular pick, it's a blend of 2 barrels. You can't get just a regular single barrel Woodford barrel selection. The double oaked you can, but not the standard.
Yeah, and then after who was it that bought them now? I'm drawing a blank. I can't remember. Anyway, they cut the barrel program out. I don't know if they started it back up, or is it still?
Yeah, that I do not know. I haven't seen any store picks in a while, so I don't know if it's back up and running or not. But well, I can give you a little brief history if you would like.
I would.
Yeah, okay. Well, in 2006, Lincoln Henderson came out of retirement to start this Angel's Envy project with his son Wes. They pretty much just, I mean, they take their whiskey, they age it for 4 to 6 years, and then they stick it into port barrels that are, I think all of the port barrels that they purchase come from Portugal. And they do an additional double barreling aging process with the port barrels for 3 to 6 months till whenever they feel like it's hit the flavor profile that they like, blend it and bottle it. And believe it or not, this is bottled, the standard is bottled non-chill filtered.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah. I did some digging, and all of the standard Angel's Envy is non-chill filtered. They still bring it down to proof. It's like 86, I think, but it's non-chill filtered. But in 2012, that's when they started the Cask strength limited release series. I think the first set they came out with, the 2012, was only like 600 bottles. It was a really low limited release. And then I don't know about 2013, but I know 2014, what we're trying tonight, was 6,500 bottles. And then it
went up some each year. I do know.
Yeah, that. I know the year after that it went up another 1,000 bottles to 7,500. But I don't know if people know Lincoln Henderson was the master distiller at Brown-Forman for quite a long time. He retired, and then, like I said, he came out of retirement to start this. So I would almost say that's almost like a passion project, or just. After you're retired, you get bored and you just think, man, I'd like to do this or do this or do this. And
yeah. And I think Wes came down here to Atlanta and spoke for the Atlanta Bourbon Society, maybe close to 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago, something like that. And that's really what it was. I mean, he had kind of a notebook of stuff that he wanted to do. And this really stood out to them. And so that's what they ended up doing. And they're still doing it now, of course. Yeah. But yeah, it was very much just a passion project and stuff that he wasn't able to do before at Brown-Forman. And it was Bacardi that bought them. It finally came to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Lincoln, he was kind of like... he was the innovator. Brown-Forman, he came up with, I think, Gentleman Jack. I think he helped out with starting the single barrel Jack Daniel's stuff. He was a big, he started, I think, Woodford. So he's done a lot of stuff. With that, I don't know a ton on Angel's Envy. And, like I said, it's, double barreled, and it's, if you like double barreled finished bourbon, it's actually a really good pour. Their rye is phenomenal. It's finished in rum casks, which I thought was super interesting, but it's almost it's kind of like a dessert type whiskey.
I would very much agree with that. It's very rum forward, and it's good for what it is. But I'd never have paid the price tag for it, just knowing that it was super sweet.
Yeah. I purchased, I think, just one bottle just to try it out, and I liked it, but I wasn't going to go back for another $80 and buy another bottle. But yeah, the price on these Cask strength, I think they've gone up each year too. And I want to say 2014, it was maybe 160. I think last year's were around 180-ish. So
yeah, it seems like they're going up
pricey.
About $10 per year. It seems like.
Yeah.
They come in a nice fancy little box. I remember Wes saying the first year that they had it, the 2012, they had someone there in the Louisville area that made the boxes for them. And when they started pricing it out the year after that, of course, they increased the bottle count. And they said there was no way that they hated not to use that guy because he was a Louisville resident and native. And they just couldn't afford it. Just because they were all, handmade boxes, and they had, more than doubled the bottle count, and said, just making the boxes alone would have put them in the red.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of a neat little addition to the story there. Cool. Anything else?
I think that's all I got, unless you got anything else to.
Well, let's take a quick break and sip on it. When we return, we'll share our notes. Welcome back, everybody. During the break, we've been sipping on a little Angel's Envy Cask Strength from 2014. This is the 119.3 proof Angel's Envy Cask Strength. Per usual format, I will let Aaron kick it off.
So the nose on this, you really get a lot of that port out of there. There's a lot of grapefruit notes to it. But what really stands out for me is it's got a great butterscotch nose to it and some maple syrup. Get a little bit of toasted nuts and get some of the darker fruits, cherries, and a little bit of raisins. Even get some almost like a orange or tangerine kind of floating out of there. It's definitely heavy on the spice. You get a lot of clove and pepper, and I don't get much oak out of it. It's very sweet and spicy forward. Not a whole lot of oak in there.
Yeah.
But on the palate was just had a lot of those fruits, a lot of cherries. Got some kind of like an orange peel or a tangerine peel type note to it. The raisins from the nose kind of turned into a dry fig on the palate. I get still get the butterscotch. A lot of butterscotch in this. Vanilla, rye, a lot of pepper to it. At the end, there's a nice hint of tobacco. And on the finish, it's brown sugar, burnt sugars, a lot of berries, and pepper. That's a really good pour. I enjoyed it. The finish was kind of medium to long. I thought at the higher proof, I thought it would be a longer finish. But overall, I think it's a great pour. It's not superly well balanced. I feel like it's very sweet, very spicy, but doesn't have any kind of really great earthy notes to it. I gave an 88 out of 100.
Yeah, I would very much agree with that. Very much so. There was a few different things that you picked up differently than what I had jotted down in my notes, but overall, I would definitely agree with a lot of what you had to say there. I'll go ahead and jump into mine. What would you say you gave yours an 88?
88, yeah.
Yeah. The first thing on this, man, that jumped out to me was the color. It's super dark.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's obviously because of the port barrel finish and it not being cut. What's the age on these? Aren't they usually like around 7 or 8 or something?
Yeah, it's about 6. Well, I don't know about the cask strength, but I imagine it's probably all the same. About 6 years, and then 3 to 6 months into the port barrels after that.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, this might be one of the darkest whiskeys that I can remember.
Yeah.
Having. But anyway, the nose on it was huge butterscotch. I got a lot of butterscotch, a lot of cherry, a little toffee in there. You can definitely tell that it's high proof, but I get a little nutmeg, and I'm picking up some a little bit of that nuttiness too. It's very super inviting nose for me. It made me think that it was going to be really creamy, just due to a lot of the aromas that I was picking up. But then on the palate, I didn't find it as creamy as what I thought it would be. It still had a good mouthfeel, but it wasn't quite what I expected it to be. Definitely get a little bit of oak, a lot of the fruit tannins that you would get from the wine. I was picking up here with a little chew. There's some spice that kicks in, a little black and red pepper. And there's a good bit of sweet fruit and darker, richer spice. But I feel like the tannins for me just kind of overpowered it. And I think that kind of goes to what you were saying. It's not as balanced as it could be. It's very, very much port forward. The finish, I found it to be long, not as long as what I would expect it to be, 119 proof, but more of the same tannins mixed in there with a little bit of vanilla and caramel. Some black pepper, providing some spice in there, some sweet pipe tobacco, and a little bit of dark chocolate. I was getting on the finish. I mean, it's good. Is it, 160, 170 good? I don't know about that. Overall, I gave it an 87 just because of the wine tannins and just could have been a little bit more balanced.
Well, us here at the Firewater Review like easy. Math. 87.5.
Math is hard. I try to avoid it at all costs.
Yes. But yeah, that's a pretty solid pour. 87.5. You know, it's with these Angels Envy expressions, I always find it's like you hear people, they either hate it or they like it. It's, you know, you don't have too many in-betweeners. You know, I do enjoy it every now and then, you know, so I did pick up a bottle of 2016 and I have opened it, and it's good for a once in a while pour. I wouldn't go out and probably, you know, I have a hard time when like my local place calls me and says, "Hey, I got this in," and you know it's kind of limited release, and you're like, well, you know, I hate passing up on those because you know they might not call you the next time they get something else in.
Yeah,
and I told you that story about that Basil Hayden Rye when that guy handed it to me. That's where I got my Al Young at. So now I don't feel too bad picking that up because you sent me an email saying, "Hey, got Al Young, and if you want a bottle."
Right. There's been times that I've gotten those, like, hey, I got this in, but I know I'm not really that interested in it. I'll go ahead and buy it anyway.
Yeah.
And then I'll put it on the Atlanta Bourbon Society Facebook page and just sell it at cost.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And that way, you know, I'm doing my store a favor. Plus, I'm turning around and selling it at cost to somebody local that does want it. And it keeps me in good standing.
I tell you what, the one thing about this bourbon that just kind of blew me away was how much butterscotch is on the nose.
Yeah. Yeah. That really jumped out at me quick. That was, I mean, I poured it and, I mean, that's the very first thing that I wrote down in my notes. I mean, it just, bam, It just butterscotch punch in the nose.
Yeah. Oh, man, if anything, you can just buy this to smell it.
Yeah, I know. And that's kind of what let me down about the palate, because the nose was so inviting. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was sitting here nosing it and I was like, I just want to quit smelling it and just take a drink. And it just, you know, I don't know. There's some finished whiskeys that I really enjoy just because they're, I mean, not all of them are high proof. The Bellamede has a sherry finish, and then the Jefferson's rum finished. I was a little hesitant to buy that, but you know, Trade did a really good job of balancing out the rum and the bourbon. It's more bourbon forward than it is rum. Yeah, and it's still kind of a dessert whiskey, but it's not. To me, it's not what the you know, the Angel's Envy rye rum finish is.
Yeah.
It's still good, but. Yeah, this actually reminded me, speaking of Jefferson's, reminded me of the Pritchard's.
Oh, yeah. That was good. That was a good solid one.
Hey, there was just something about that was, I don't know, it kind of threw me off. I never really got into it. A lot of people liked it.
And I think it's because it was pretty sweet forward. It was, for me, it was very sweet. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people like a lot of sweet, so.
I don't know, because I'd had the rum finished before I'd had the Pritchards, and I was thinking still more bourbon forward. So I don't know if I was just going in with a different mindset than what I actually experienced, but maybe that was the case. Anyway, to each their own. All right, so an 87.5?
87.5.
For Angel's Envy Cask Strength 2014. Anything else to add?
No, it's a good pour. If you like finished bourbons and you got a little extra cash, spring on it. I don't think it'll disappoint you, but at 160, I think I will pass.
Yeah, that's one that you might want to try at a bar somewhere first.
Yeah,
before you spring on it.
If you can try it before you buy it, it's definitely worth doing it. And I don't see these like jumping off the shelves. So I think if you see it and you want to try it at a bar, you could probably go back and get it if you do like it. But they will go. But I just don't think they're going to go fast.
Nah. Usually when they hit, there's a couple of stores that I would go to every now and then. I haven't been in forever, but they would get this, and it would sit behind the counter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it would eventually disappear, but it's not like some of the other limited releases that you'd never even see behind the counter on the shelf. All right. I think that does it.
I think it does.
Where can these fine listeners find you?
Well, I am always here on the Firewater Review. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Bourbon Cave. Write for the Sons of Winston Churchill. Also write for the Bourbon Zeppelin. High-proof single-barrel bourbons. You?
I am Seth P. Brown on Instagram and never the Twitter. And you can obviously find me on this show. You can find all of the ABV Network shows on abvnetwork.com or in iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. You can find this one, the Firewater Review, on YouTube. There is no video, audio only. You can find us in all those places. You can also find me occasionally, not as often as what I should be, on the Son of Winston Churchill. That is sowchurchill.blogspot.com. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Until next time, please drink responsibly and cheers.
Later.
The Firewater Review is part of the ABV Network. For more information or to become a sponsor, please visit abvnetwork.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers.